She got a diamond smile, but a heart of stone. Always texting, never home. I gave her love, she gave me lies. Caught her running with another guy. She says it's nothing, just a friend, but her stories never seem to end. I'm tired of the game she plays. These girls ain't loyal. No, they'll leave you cold in the afterglow. Sweet as sugar till the truth unfolds. These girls ain't loyal. No. Late night calls, she disappears. Always saying what I wanna hear. Red lipstick on her collarbone. Tell me why I feel so alone. She's a mirage, a perfect disguise. Got me hypnotized with those big brown eyes. But I see through her, yeah. I know the deal. A love like this ain't ever real. These girls ain't loyal. No, they'll leave you cold in the afterglow. Sweet as sugar till the truth unfolds. These girls ain't loyal. No.
Yeah, good morning, y'all. Welcome to the Urban Heat, R&B Talk on a Thursday. My name is Steve Gooseby, in the studio live with Rich Sports. And, yeah, we got a lot to talk about, y'all, especially in sports.
Yeah. R&B on 98.
Well, we're going to cut the R&B off. But, yeah, so it's R&B Talk, man. This is what we do on a Thursday, man. Monday through Friday, I am here from 10 to 1 o'clock. But on Thursday, we just stop the music. At least for a couple of hours, and we just talk about whatever's going on in the community, whatever's trending, or whatever you want to talk about. And if you want to chime in on anything at any time, you can call us at 617-238-7111. Again, I'm here with Rich Sports. What's happening, Rich, man? How you doing?
All right, Steve. How you doing, brother?
Good. Just make sure that mic is, close enough. I got it up as loud as I can.
We all good to go, Steve.
But so in sports, let's start there, man, because last night the Red Sox, they dropped one to the Yankees. That series is tied up 1-1 in the wild card. And I won't say what we had a conversation about before, man, but it's a little embarrassing, man. But we ain't going to talk about that. Not today.
That's all right, Steve. That's all right. Sometimes, hey, that's what I'm here for, man, to bring you all the sports knowledge, man.
Yeah. So what's your take on the game last night?
Oh, man, we blew that one, Steve. Right now the series is tied at 1 apiece. Winner take all tonight in Yankee Stadium, which I like to see those Yankee fans sad.
Mm-hmm.
We blew that game last night. How
did we blow it?
First of all, our left fielder Jeremy Durant dropped the ball, let a run score. He should have caught that.
I saw that. Yep.
We didn't send the runner from third base,
and I saw that
when the ball got away from the first baseman. That was on the third base coach, and I thought Cora, who's an excellent manager, he left one of our best relievers in for like almost 50 pitches. Guys aren't used to coming in your setup guy coming in throwing 50 pitches.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he admitted that he was a little fatigued. So other than that, man, hey, you know what? We've had a great season.
We tried to squeeze a little extra out of him.
Yeah, we're tied 1-1. Our pitching staff is a little thin right now. Guys are hurt. But you know what? Yankee Stadium tonight, hey, I wouldn't have it any other way. Red Sox, Yankees, that's the only way to go.
Yeah, so I'm going to make sure I keep the eyes on that, for all those. And I'm not going to lie, man. It's been a while since we've had October baseball here in Boston.
2021, the last time we had October baseball.
Yeah, it wasn't too long ago, but it seems like a lot longer.
It does, because we were used to being in it every year. And you know what? It's funny. 2001, we won the wild card game against the Yankees and went all the way to the American League Championship Series. So we got a young team, and I just want the Boston fans to stay engaged with the Red Sox. This ain't your grandfather's Red Sox, if you know what I mean.
Right. Okay, so Red Sox and Yankees tonight, y'all. We got October baseball in Boston, Massachusetts, y'all. That's a good thing, man. Let's switch it over to football real quick. Again, my guy, Rich Sports, man. How about them Patriots from last Sunday, man?
Well, that was a great win, Steve. Hey, man, I'm going to tell you what. The offense is starting to really click now. There's a lot of chemistry between Drake May and Stephon Diggs, the tight ends. Everything looks good. I love Josh McDaniels. He's got Drake May, out there. He seems to have more control of the offense. The first game against the Raiders, there was a little nervous energy going on. But now what I see is he's getting a grasp of the offense. We're moving the ball up and down the field. We should be at least 3-1. The Pittsburgh game, they didn't do nothing to stop us. We just went up and down the field on them, and we shot ourselves in the foot on every time we got into the red zone.
Right.
So you know what? I like where we're going. We're going against probably the best team in football right now, Buffalo. That's what I would say. Josh Allen, to me, is the best player in football right now.
So I'll say this. So my take's a little different on the Patriots, man. I'm just going to take it back to the offseason when, we acquired Mike Vrabel, Josh McDaniels. I was very, very excited, and I still am, man. I was just a little disappointed. I know it's early in the season, but, my take on Vrabel and Josh McDaniels, I felt like those losses were on the coach. People want to say we don't have the talent. When we lose, they always say we don't have the talent. They said we didn't have the talent, but we won 6 Super Bowls with no talent. And when we had the best talent, we didn't even win the Super Bowl that year. That was the year with Randy Moss.
Yeah, if you think about it, man, the undefeated regular season.
Yeah, so forget all the excuses. We got talent, and I'm just basing this on all the hype during the offseason. We had a good draft. We acquired some players, some very good talent. You can't tell me all of a sudden now we don't have receivers again. I don't want to hear that.
I don't think that's true, Steve.
Yeah.
With Stephon Diggs, you got the kid Butte, you got the 2 tight ends, you got the running back from Ohio State out of the backfield. I think we have enough guys to catch the football. And Steve, I'm telling you once again, I like the way the offense is being run right now. We should be 3-1. On the Raider game, I thought we had a lot of nervous energy. But Steve, this team has talent. The problem is, Steve, we're not good enough, like, say, the Philadelphia Eagles or one of these top-tier teams, Buffalo. We can't afford to have 3-4 mistakes, turnovers in a game and win. We're not at that point yet where we could turn the ball over 4 or 5 times and win a game.
Right.
We got to play flawless football, and that's what we did last week against Carolina, who had just shut out Atlanta the week before, 30-0. So let's use Buffalo as a measuring stick this week.
I think the Buffalo game is going to be a great measuring stick. So, again, coaching, and I say this because, again, we've all been spoiled by the fact that we had Tom Brady for all them years, we had Bill Belichick for all them years. So we're accustomed, and we at least from watching those games, I know what winning looks like.
Exactly.
I know what good coaching looks like. And I feel like that's been missing with us, even though we have what's supposed to be some great coaching.
Well, Steve, what I want to interject and say, I think you need to keep the faith because we got 2 guys that won in this organization. Josh McDaniels won as an offensive coordinator. He put perfect schemes out there for Tom Brady to run. Everybody gives Tom Brady credit. He had to execute, but Josh McDaniels was a really good game planner along with probably the best coach in history, Bill Belichick.
Right.
And we had some very smart players. Mike Vrabel was a very smart football player. We got him from Pittsburgh when he was just a rotational player on their team on defense.
Right.
And he turned into one of our best linebackers on those 3 championship teams. So, Steve, we do have guys in the house that have Super Bowl rings. And, Steve, I think it's a culture that has to be developed here. Right. So have a little patience, Steve.
No, and you know what? I'm going to have the patience, but I just got to give you my take and how I view things.
Hey, you're a tough man to please, man.
Listen, so, I look at it, too. I'm looking at Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel, I feel like, didn't have a job for a reason prior to the Patriots.
Well, things kind of went sour in Tennessee.
Right.
He had them in the playoffs. He beat Bill Belichick and the Patriots, Tom Brady's last year. He had them. They were a hard-nosed team.
Right.
They played physical defense. They made the playoffs almost every year he was there. Him and the general manager kind of got into a little problem when they traded A.J. Brown and Derrick Henry away. So that kind of, played a role into it for him because he felt they were trading all of his best players away.
Right. Okay. And Josh McDaniels, I feel like he was, even when he was here, I think he's a great coordinator, but at least the first few games with the Patriots, I feel like that maybe he was coached, by a great coach, Bill Belichick.
Oh, Bill Belichick definitely developed Josh McDaniels.
Right.
because before he became the offensive coordinator, he was the quarterbacks coach for Brady.
Yeah.
So he's got a lot of experience. He's not a great head coach. I mean, he had two bites at the apple. That didn't go well.
Right.
But one thing I like what he said he did in the offseason, he went around to all the good college campuses, the best coaches, and even going up to Kansas City. He studied offensive patterns of some of the best teams in the country. So he did his homework in the offseason. And I'm telling you, Steve, I really think he's going to develop Drake May into that top-tier quarterback.
Okay, so this Sunday is going to be a big game. This is going to be a huge test. Sunday Night Football, Buffalo and the Patriots. Shout out to my guy, Coach Willie May, man. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Now, before we switch over, because I want to talk about Jason Tatum, his the injury and how he's coming along. I want to talk about that. But before we talk about that, I want to talk about what happened to superstar quarterback Jaden Daniels
for the
Washington Commanders.
Yeah,
he walked into a Louis Vuitton store in Virginia. And this happened a short while ago. He walks into the store. He has on sweats and a hoodie, and the people in the store wouldn't allow him in the store. They said to him something to the extent, you're in the wrong store. You don't belong here. And he just kept it moving. All right. And he just went out. He went in there to buy a gift for his sister, a birthday gift for his sister. I don't know if you heard have any details, if you heard anything about that.
Yeah, that incident came up on the wires. And, it's funny because I think that just shows you're still judged by the way you look, by the way you dress. And what these high-end stores don't understand, everyone doesn't come in there looking like they're a businessman or they have $1 million. You can't judge people by the way they look. And that incident happened to Oprah years ago, back in 2013 when she was overseas. She went into an Italian store and there was a bag, I think it was somewhere around $38,000.
Yeah.
And they told Oprah that that bag was very expensive. They didn't recognize who Oprah was. She was kind of dressed down. And so these incidents happen all the time.
I heard about that, and I heard Oprah said something back to it. Do you know who I am, or something like that?
Well, Steve, to put a spin on this, it's usually people of color that this happened to all the time.
Oh, no doubt.
No doubt. And I've been in high-end stores, and you're looking at stuff. The salespeople never really come over to ask you if you need anything. They just assume, you're just in there window shopping.
Yeah. Now, the crazy thing about all that, when you think about the money that our culture spends on retail, it surpasses anything else that's out there.
We spend more money on retail.
We spend billions
than anyone else. Yeah. That's a known fact. We spend a lot of money on luxury items and high-end items, and this should be kind of a little lesson for a lot of individuals out there that have money and people of color, because you're still judged by your appearance when you go into these places.
Right. Now, do you think those individuals should be fired from Louis Vuitton, although they apologize?
I never want anyone to lose their job. There's always like some type of education within the company that they need to probably go through some protocol.
Yeah, I'd send them to some type of training on discrimination, because that was clearly discrimination.
Yeah, you just don't judge people by the way they look, and that's a bad look for Louis Vuitton. Let's face it, man.
And it's not the first time either. I believe Jim Jones, the rapper Jim Jones, had an issue not too long ago going into, I don't know, maybe it was Gucci, one of those stores, but it's a problem.
Oh, it's definitely a problem. You're always judged by your appearance when you go into these stores. And that's as a salesperson, if I worked in a store as a salesperson, I'm never judging anybody by their appearance, because I'm trying to get that sale and get that commission.
Right. It's all about the dollar.
Yeah.
All right, man. Jason Tatum, I don't know if folks have heard, but he was being interviewed by someone, and they talked about him coming back next season. And he says he doesn't even know, he said something to the extent, I don't know who came up with that, but I'm not training 6 days a week or going to rehab 6 days a week to come back next season.
Well, I saw him on First Take with Stephen A. Smith a couple of weeks ago, and he says, I'm not ruling out this particular season where they're starting to do media day, training camps are starting up. And then I saw him working out at the Celtics facility. I mean, he's doing he's doing deadlifts, he's cutting. I'm gonna be honest, Steve. I think he's coming back this season. It's probably gonna be.
I saw the same video. Yeah. It didn't even look like he had an injury.
I'm looking at probably All-Star break sometime around that time. You know, I don't look at November, December, maybe January, February after the All-Star break. I think him, Kyrie Irving, all those guys that got hurt, because the medical science is so great now.
Yeah.
And the medicine's so great, the rehab is different.
Mm-hmm.
And I see these guys, they put a lot into it, man. You know, they just don't sit around and and wait for this thing to heal. They do a lot of rehabbing now.
Yeah, there was another doctor who came out and said that he could come back in November, but he wouldn't recommend it. He would at least have him wait till January. But he looks good. That same video, you're right.
Hey, I'm excited. I think we're going to see Jason Tatum on the court. And I think the Celtics, if he gets on the court sometime after the All-Star break with this Celtics team that we have right now, I really think we could still make a run in the Eastern Conference.
You know what, though? I'll say this, man. Al Horford, they even lost Cornette. Cornette is gone.
Well, Cornette went and got his bag with the San Antonio. He got $40 million. Hey, man, he got to get paid. Everybody got to get that one good contract.
Listen,
Steve.
He's going to help San Antonio.
Oh, definitely. With the young guys they got, the bigs they got down there, he's definitely an experience. But you know what, Steve? I like the Celtics youngsters. I like the big guy there in the middle, Quetta. I wanted him to be developed more the last couple of seasons, but because we had Al Horford, we had Porzingis, we had Cornette ahead of him, it was kind of hard. But I see him now stepping into that starting center role. We got a couple other 7-footers. We got some young guys that's been on the roster for the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
You got to develop these guys. That's the only way. With the salary cap, and you're not going to pay everybody in the luxury tax, you got to develop your bench.
Right. I agree, man. And, listen, I'm just going to go back to the playoff. I don't care what anybody says, right? But if we were healthy, and people will come back and say, come on, Goose, man. Yeah, but the year before, people talked about all the other teams having those injuries was the reason why we won.
Exactly, yes.
So I'm telling you now, the reason why we lost, that whole starting five was injured, man.
If they were healthy, no doubt in my mind, you had Porzingis. A lot of people don't want to accept it, but he was dealing with the effects of COVID, long COVID. His breathing was going bad. Actually, I've been following him this summer. He's tearing it up there overseas.
I was going to say, he's balling out right now.
But Steve, you get COVID. And, I've been close to people that's had COVID. And one of the things they complain about after they recover is their breathing, their stamina, their fatigueness. And if you remember, Steve, he had that one great game against Orlando where he won that game for us in the first round, I believe, against Orlando.
Yep.
And if you remember, Steve, after that, man, he was fatigued out there. He was
terrible, man.
But he was trying to hide it. They didn't want anyone to know. Listen, Porzingis averaged somewhere around 19-7 last year. The guy dropped like 38 on the Knicks like a week before the season ended. So all of a sudden he forgot how to play basketball.
Right. His average dropped drastically.
Yeah, and that was fatigue.
On everything.
Steve, if you don't have your win.
Well, he had a breathing problem, they said, too, with the COVID.
Yeah, he had COVID. They kind of hid it. They just announced it as some type of viral infection. They do that now. They just, they don't announce it as COVID no more. But if you remember, he was having a hard time out there breathing during the playoffs, man.
Yeah.
But they say he's overseas. He's playing during the summer, man. He looks really good.
Yeah. No, I saw the games.
Personally, Steve, I wish we could have kept him. I didn't mind Drew Holiday moving on because he was 34, big contract, and we got a good scorer in Anthony Simons.
Well, looking at him ball out now, I wish they would have kept him.
Well, the thing was, new owner, luxury tax, and Jason Tatum got hurt. I think if Tatum doesn't get hurt, I think the new owner probably would have held on to Porzingis because his contract was very team friendly at $30 million a year for a 7'4" guy, 7'3". That's average is 20 points a game and 8-9 rebounds.
Yeah, man.
And play defense.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. All right, man. So that's what's going on with the Celtics. Jason Tatum, he says that there's a high probability that he'll be back this season for sure. All right, man, let's switch it up a little bit. A lot of stuff happening. Want to talk about the government shutdown. Want to talk about the hundreds of top generals and admirals in the military, man. They were summoned to this military base in Virginia. That just happened, man. What are your thoughts on that?
Wow, that was amazing for them to call in all the generals from all around the world. I watched some of that, and it was seeing all those military, higher ups sitting there. It was just a long, drawn out talk telling them that they want to change the culture of the military.
Is that what it was about?
Yeah, they basically were saying that the military has been too woke for too long. They want to make it more of a dominant male military. They have to shave their beards, no hair on their faces. They want fitness tests taken twice a year.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
You believe that?
Which part of that?
any of it. I'm just saying in general. I think did you actually have to have everybody come in and meet at one place to tell them that?
That was the biggest controversy. Why couldn't you do this all on Zoom meetings?
Yeah.
From all around the world. Why would you have these guys come in from all around the world? And they also renamed the Department of Defense to the Department of War now, which was in 1947 after World War II. That's when the name changed to the Department of Defense from the Department of War. So there's some changes going on within a new, they're trying to create this new military culture. That's what they say. That's what they tell us anyway.
And at the same time, coincidentally, if you want to say that, you got the government shutdown. So I don't know. There's a lot going on in the world, man. There's turmoil everywhere, and something like that happens. I don't know, man. It just wouldn't surprise me. I believe something major is going to happen here anyways. And I felt that ever since years ago in New York City, they started advertising on billboards and on television. They started advertising how to survive a nuclear war.
Yeah.
Or something to that extent regarding a nuclear war, PSAs and all kinds of stuff, man. And I'm like, why are they that's not a good sign, man.
Personally, I don't want to survive a nuclear war. That's just me. I don't want to. That's a scary thought.
Right.
But
not to scare anybody, but
yeah, but that's a lot of chaos going on in the world right now. A lot of chaos. And this government shutdown, you got the Democrats and the Republicans fighting on both sides of the aisle of everything. And everyone takes a side. I've always said I kind of stay neutral on this stuff now, because you take a side and your side is going to be the wrong side depending on who you're talking to.
Right. Yeah. So the government shutdown, it affects a lot of things. A lot of folks ain't getting paid either. They're going to work, but they're not getting paid. So right now it's affecting the Department of Education, the IRS, or if you're waiting on a check. And the crazy thing is, I just did my taxes. I just finished my taxes and mailed them out yesterday. So yeah, I'm late on that.
The air traffic controllers are not getting paid.
That's right. TSA.
So are they really dedicated to doing their job if they're not getting a paycheck right now?
You got correctional officers. You got folks from the military. You got health and human services. A lot of those people aren't getting paid, but they're reporting to work. And I don't know. Normally, I think we're talking about this the end of the year, not in October. If I'm correct.
Yeah, some of the things that they're trying to push in there. Allegedly, the Democrats want them to fix the healthcare system with the healthcare for elderly people and different healthcare. They want them to change some of that stuff. That's what their biggest sticking point is.
Right.
And it's some of the stuff. Healthcare is something in this country that should be free for everybody. We're the richest country in the world, the most powerful country. Healthcare should not be an issue in this country.
Right. Definitely should. One is it's expensive as hell. And, a good transition. So last week we talked about JFK Jr. and Donald Trump. They were talking about the Tylenol, how there's an ingredient in the Tylenol that causes autism for women when they're pregnant. So since then, there's so much back and forth going on about whether there's any truth to that. And they've been talking about the vaccines. And since then, so much has come out about the food, of course, and even the water. I've even heard things about the drinking water. So, you know, you got to do your research. Some of it you got to take with a grain of salt. But one thing I can tell you is that it's a problem.
Oh, it's definitely a problem.
It's a problem.
Well, Walmart just announced they're taking all food dye or food that has food dye in it off their shelves.
Yeah.
So that means for 30, 40 years, whatever, you've been selling food with food dye in it.
Yeah.
Now the rates of cancer is going up. The damage is done already. You made your money. Walmart is a $1 billion company.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, that family bought the Denver Broncos. So
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, they bought the Denver Broncos. So
Walmart owns the Denver Broncos?
The family.
Jeez.
The family owns the Denver Broncos. So what I'm saying is all this stuff is being discovered, but look how much money they've made over the years. That's just like years ago, Steve. If you remember, they made movies about it. All of those big time factories that was in these little small urban towns around America. Remember the drinking water? They found out they did tests, it caused cancer in people in the communities.
Mm-hmm.
It was the paper factories, different type of mills, and they made so much money over the year because they were just dumping the waste into the drinking water.
Yeah.
That's what they did 50, 60, 70, 80 years ago. There was no regulations to prevent that.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden they found out people in these towns were getting high rates of cancer and they traced it back to that. So this is the same thing with the food industry. Like you've been talking about this for the last few weeks, and it makes a lot of sense. Food dye, the additives,
mm-hmm.
all the preservatives. I mean, Steve, I don't know if you look at dates. I look at dates on food all the time. Mm-hmm. Man, you see stuff on the shelves 5 years down the road is still good.
Right.
What lasts 5 years?
Let me tell you something. I bought a watermelon out of the supermarket the other day. I bought it from the organic side of the fruit section. When I got home, I cut that thing up. I actually got a picture on my phone of it, man. I had to tell you, I was meaning to post this because I'm like, this is not organic. And I cut it up. I looked at it and I threw it in the trash, man.
Yeah.
And look at that right there, man. Does
that
listen?
That looked like something that was developed in a lab, Steve.
Yeah, that's supposed to be an organic watermelon right there.
That looked like it was developed in a lab.
I cut it up and I immediately just threw it in the garbage. I wanted to take it back.
Did you taste it?
Nah, actually, You know what? Sort of, kind of, man. I didn't take a bite.
What was the flavor like?
There was no flavor.
Yeah.
There was no flavor.
Yeah.
And I just threw it in the trash, man. I'm like, I'm not eating that. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I think even with fruits now, a lot of stuff is being made so quickly. They found ways to make food. I think it's because of the food chain, because of the money involved. And you're definitely right. The food that we're consuming is very dangerous to our health long term. You know, and I think you see a lot of people in our generation starting to have the health effects of that now.
And let's just talk about why, too. And the answer is really simple. It's all about money. It's money. I've thought about this, and this has been my opinion for a long time. You know, the big pharmaceutical companies, you know, they lobbied for certain laws to be passed and for certain ingredients to be okay to be put in the food. They lobby for this, you know, to Congress, and these laws get passed. But what it does for them, you know, if we eat the food and we get sick, what do?
We go to the doctor.
You go to the doctor. The doctor treats you. They have a list. They have a book of medicines, right, that they can prescribe. There's companies, pharmaceutical companies, that what they do is they visit these hospitals. They take these doctors out to lunch. Listen, we want you to, you know, push this medicine right here. This is great for someone comes in with a headache, you know, prescribe them this aspirin right here. And we'll even give you 20% for everyone, or whatever the amount they want to do.
Well, that was proven from Big Pharma with the OxyContins, the opiate crisis. That was one of the reasons why Big Pharma was sued for so much money, and doctors constantly push the OxyContins, the opiates onto people. Any type of pain that you had, you was being prescribed oxys. You know, I know people, I mean, you was getting oxys like they were candy.
Yeah. I mean, in the past, I've been to the doctor and they would say, take this. I would never go to the front. I'm like, what is this? And I'm taking this for what?
Yeah.
That ain't my problem. And I would never go to, I'm like, I'm all set.
Well, they try to get you in the chain of giving you medication. It's a big business. It's definitely a big business.
But what I do believe in, right? I do believe that every person can heal themselves. I do believe that.
Oh, definitely.
I strongly believe that. You just gotta change your diet and you gotta stick to it. You gotta be mentally strong. You know, if you're drinking a lot of, I'll tell a quick story, right? So before I sold the house, my ex-wife had a friend. She had diabetes and she had it really bad. And things were happening that weren't good, with the diabetes. And I came home one evening, right? I go in the, fridge, look for something to eat. I'm in the pantry and I'm like, what's that? I saw this drink. It was like yellow soda or whatever. I don't know what it was. It was just like it was a yellow Fanta, right? I saw Twinkies back there and I was like, oh, man, I ain't had a Twinkie in a long time. The last time I had a Twinkie was Orchard Park. For real.
The real Twinkies.
Yeah, the real Twinkies. So I was like, oh, shoot, I ain't had one of these in a long time. I opened it up. Man, I spit that thing out so quick. It was the worst thing I've ever tasted, right? And I said to her, don't you have diabetes? And she was like, yeah. I was like, why are you eating all this stuff in yellows? The yellow soda to me just looked like it was harmful.
Yeah, well,
you know what I mean?
All that food coloring, you think about it and die, yes.
Yeah, man. So, but yeah, I think the food, and I've said, and I know when Mel's been on the show, Mel's been against it. I think she's more on believing that now, but I just always believe that in the end of the day, and even folks in general, when they have family members that get sick, they always want to point to the diet. Of course, it's the diet. If you look at the ingredients on just about any and everything you buy, there's something in there that's not good for you. And we just got to pay more attention to that, man. It's going to be hard because even when you try to do the right thing or buy the right foods, somehow, some way, Big Pharma got a piece of that.
Well, Steve, no one wants to actually say it, but there are certain regions of the world where people who grow their food, they actually live longer, healthier lives
than people in the United States. That's a fact.
And they don't take medicine from the pharmaceutical companies. I mean, a lot of the Caribbean islands, a lot of the tropics, these people are eating fresh fruits and vegetables every day.
Right.
And they're not using regular medicine. And these people are living well into their 90s and providing for themselves.
And in some places, they're living, past 100 years old.
Yes.
But
they're not going to market that. Mm-mm. Why would they market that here in our culture?
Right. It's a big problem. So we got to do better. We got to eat better. And I would say just do research. I cut out a lot of things in my life, man.
Yeah.
When it comes to food, I was never a big meat eater anyways. But I ain't gonna lie, over the summer, man, these damn barbecues, man, you find yourself,
Oh yeah. Nothing like that fresh burger coming off the grill, You
find yourself breaking habits, man. And sometimes you go out to these restaurants, but I do my best, man. I never did eat a lot of meat, especially red meat, but
Well, the supply chain of the food is definitely a problem. And, like I said, you may not agree with everything that RFK is saying, but he's kind of making people become aware of the whole food supply chain. Mm-hmm. I got to agree with him. The dyes that they're putting in food that they've been feeding.
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong about this stuff.
He's not wrong.
And all the additives. I mean, some people think he's a little kind of a quack, but think about it. You go into a store, Steve, everything has color in it.
And before him, where was the awareness with this?
It
wasn't heightened the way it is right now.
No, it wasn't.
So now people are paying more attention to it, and they're finding that he's, like you said, people might look at him as a quack, but he's telling the truth.
Yeah, I go in the corner store and I look around. I'm like, everything has a color to it.
Yeah.
Is it a subliminal thing where it catches the kids' eyes? And these stores are not geared for me and you, Steve. They're geared for the young kids.
Mm-hmm.
The advertisement of the bags, the bag is colorful, the food is colorful.
Right.
Everything has a dye in it. And that can't be healthy for you, putting dye into your system.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and just to go a little deeper into it, so last week, again, they talked about how the ingredient in Tylenol causes autism. Now, there are a lot of folks out there that believe that. There's a lot that don't. Even after some of the studies, people were saying that, well, that study wasn't accurate. Well, if you pay anybody, they'll give you what you want it to say. And all of that is true. But at the same time, so when I think about that, one of the things that happened last week was after that came out, a lot of pregnant women started taking the Tylenol as a FU to Trump and JFK. And I thought that was just stupid. I thought it was stupid because even if there's a slight chance, there's other medication that you could take to replace that. Whereas, okay, whether you believe it or not, why take the risk?
I think why Tylenol was so famous over the years, it reduces fever.
Yeah.
With that long word, acetaminophen or whatever it is there.
Acetaminophen, acetaminophen. I don't know either.
Acetaminophen, it reduces fever, which, pregnant women sometimes run a high fever, and that could damage the baby also. I mean, Steve, my thing is, I just don't think it's the Tylenol with the autism. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a researcher. I think it has something to do with the food chain also.
I think it's a little bit of everything.
I mean, the mothers, they eat when they're pregnant, they eat what they want. They eat a lot of different things.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the food chain also has a problem to do with it.
Right.
What the mothers take into their body and the baby consumes.
Right.
No one's saying that, but I just don't think it's just the Tylenol, me personally.
Right. I can believe that as well. I'm with you on that. And the vaccines. What do you think about all the vaccines? I mean, the amount of and let's not push this to the side. Back in the early 80s and in late 70s, it was 1 in 3,000.
Yeah.
That would, that had autism.
Yeah.
And so now we're at 1 in every 30.
Yeah, that's
a problem.
That's very high. Yeah.
That's a problem. So what's important about that is why. Why is that a problem? So they're saying Tylenol. They're saying all the vaccines. It could be a combination of both. You know what I mean? But that jab during COVID, that's a whole nother thing too. A lot of people have died since taking the jab.
Yeah, there's been some research that it might have affected some people's heart. There's been some people claim blood clots and different things like that.
Yeah.
Like I said, the jury's still out on a lot of this stuff because it's almost like, what side do you believe when it comes to the research?
Right.
It's very difficult. You always are gonna be like, well, should I do this for my health or shouldn't I do it? It's everybody. I think you just got to make your own decision.
Yeah, you got to make your own decision. But again, I think research is everything, man.
Yeah.
Research is everything. And it's just to the point now, it's like, who do you believe?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Folks on the Democrat side, I mean, you got to think that they're going to say things because they're pissed, because they're not in control of much anymore. But everyone has something to say, but at the same time, everyone has an agenda, in my opinion. You just got to take all the information. And what I'm doing, just me personally, I'm taking the information. I'm not taking no jab anyways.
Yeah.
Because I don't trust what's in it. I don't trust the people that want me to take the jab. My doctor over the years have been trying to get me to take a flu shot. Never taken a flu shot in my life.
And have you had the flu recently?
I've had, not recently, but maybe I could probably count how many times over my lifespan, how many times I've had it.
Yeah, me too.
You know what I mean? I don't get the flu a lot. I mean, when I get sick, I get sick. But to take and knowing that, to take a flu shot, giving me the flu when I don't have it, what sense does that make when you think about it?
Yeah, technically they're giving you a strain of the flu. What they think is going to be the one that year that your body can fight off. But one of the things I will still say to most people, still go to the doctor, get your checkups, get your blood work done, find out what's going on. And, you got to do your research. You got to ask your doctor questions. Just don't go by everything that the doctor tell you. There are certain checkups as men, especially black men, we still need to go and get these checkups done, get our blood work done. It's still important for us.
Right. And I think doctors are more conscious now that everybody's kind of hip to these vaccines and how they work. So they're probably going to be a little bit more on their toes. But let's talk about that too, because a lot of us black men, I wouldn't say women, I say women go to the doctor more than black men, but a lot of black men are afraid to go to the doctor, man. Why is that?
I think, well, Steve, that's just what we're saying right now, because they don't trust the industry. I've talked to some of my friends. They don't trust certain procedures that men have to get done, and I've known friends that have died from colon cancer.
Yeah.
And they will not get they didn't get a colonoscopy. I've had that procedure done a few times, and but I know some men that will not get it done.
Right.
And I've had friends die from colon cancer.
Yeah.
And that's a very curable cancer if it's detected early.
Mm-hmm.
But there's blood work for prostate cancer. I know guys don't get their blood. I mean, we don't go to the doctor like we should. There's a distrust there. And we should not be dying from colon cancer or prostate cancer when you're in your mid 40s or early 50s.
Yeah.
Because it's two very detectable cancers that if they caught early, they can be cured.
And when you do go, pay attention to your results, especially your blood work, your cholesterol,
yes,
things of that nature, and ask those questions. You gotta, and that's the thing, when you're talking about your health, you gotta ask questions. And I know for me, man, I go to the doctor sometimes. It's, in the past, I've been frustrated because you go in and you complain about a particular thing, and that particular thing isn't addressed, but they're a doctor. Like, why did I even come to you?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know if that has something to do with it, but yeah, you got to ask questions.
One of the big things in our community is high blood pressure.
Yeah.
And high cholesterol. If your doctor tell you should be taking the medicine, don't say I'm going to change my lifestyle. Sometimes it's best with cholesterol and even with high blood pressure medicine. Take the medicine while you're changing your lifestyle, then you can get off of it. But if your numbers are very high, you're not going to bring those numbers down in 2-3 months, unless you just go strict vegetarian.
Right.
And if you've been eating meat and eating bad, if you're going to change right away, yeah, you could bring those numbers down right away. But if you're not making those changes right away, sometimes it's best. There are medicines that we should take at a certain age to bring our numbers down. You can't eat bad for 45 years of your life and then go to the doctor and they tell you got high blood pressure. And you say, hey, wait a minute, I'm not taking this medicine. And, I try to change things. So that's why you're probably seeing a lot of heart attacks in our community, Steve, because a lot of guys are not going to the doctor getting their blood pressure checked.
Yeah. On top of the bad food, on top of the stuff that was done by Big Pharma and all of that, pushing or making things happen fast forward. The other piece is too, you gotta listen, as you get older, I'm telling you now, you gotta work out.
Oh, most
you
definitely.
Gotta work out.
Yeah.
You gotta get that blood flowing. Especially because of the way the food is right now. The food is, to be honest, the food is injuring a lot of us.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah.
And we don't even know it. It's like those little things that normally would happen when you start getting older, or it's happening a lot sooner, especially in our culture.
I mean, you look at a guy like LeBron James, whether you love him or hate him, the guy is 40 years old. He'll be 41 his birthday in December. The guy is still playing at a very high level. But between working out, a strict regimen of diet,
and he looks like he's in his 30s, man.
That's all plays into that.
Yeah.
The diet actually slows down.
Because I didn't know he was 40. I knew he was up there. I didn't know he was
40 last December.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
And diet will also slow down your aging process. Like I said, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. But diet and exercise will definitely slow down your aging process if you're willing to put in the work and do it.
You got to keep that blood flowing. You got to keep that blood flowing. You got to drink water, cut out some things. And truth be told, man, majority of the time, I eat like once a day, not even purposely. It's just that in the morning, I've never been big on breakfast, even though on occasion I'll get a phone call, let's do breakfast. So I'm out doing breakfast for a change. But, usually I eat like once a day, man.
I'm kind of on that same schedule. That's our biggest problem in this country. Food is pushed at us.
Yeah.
Breakfast, lunch, dinner. We actually consume too much food in this country.
Right.
That's one of the biggest problems we have in this country. We consume too much food.
Right.
Because everything's celebrated with food, Steve. Think about it. If you think about it, everything is celebrated with food.
Right. Birthday party. What are we gonna do for food? Who's gonna cook? The holiday, and let's not even talk about Thanksgiving and Christmas and all of that stuff.
Celebrated with food.
You're right, man. And as we mentioned last week, man, I'm just gonna say this again, man, because it just really made me think, man. I can't remember who I was having a conversation with, but we was just talking about how come there isn't a shortage on chicken. As much as we eat chicken, there's we have chicken. You go to the bar, man. You watching the game. You're not gonna watch. Hey, we want to order some wings, man. What kind of wings you got? You got all kinds of flavors for wings, and man, it's like we eat a lot of chicken on a regular basis, man.
And I'm gonna tell you, Steve,
there's no shortage.
Hey, listen, my family's from the South. I remember as a kid in South Carolina, them damn chickens did not grow that fast.
No, no.
There might have been 30, 40 chickens in that yard.
Yeah.
Them chickens wasn't growing that fast, man. These chickens, like you said, they're mass producing these chickens, man.
Yeah,
at a high. You got Kentucky Fried Chicken, you got Popeyes, you got Bojangles in the South, you got Chick-fil-A. I mean, you got these small chicken places. Mm-hmm. Where the hell is all this chicken coming from?
Right. Now, speaking of Chick-fil-A, and I should have actually did some more research on this, man, but I just saw a glimpse of an article and a video on Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A, or is it Wendy's? It's either I forget which one it is. If someone could just do the research real quick and let me know. But one of those brands have to post the ingredients that's in their food, or something to that extent, or ingredients that are cancer causing. I can't remember. It was one of those, either Chick-fil-A or Wendy's, one of those. And I know here in what's that? A Wendy's on Cummins Highway? I mean, American Legion Highway.
That's a Wendy's, American Legion Highway.
Man, still to this day, man, there's always a line over there.
There's always a line
drive-through, man.
I've never been to that Wendy's. One of the reasons that line is always around the corner. And you know what I say sometimes, is anybody cooking at home? When I go by that Wendy's, there's always a line. Yeah. But you got to remember, Steve, that fast food is a very addictive taste. Mm-hmm. I have a book called Fast Food Nation. I've read it a few times. Do you know the fast food industry purposely in about the 70s started putting ingredients in fast food to actually make it addictive? It's a very addictive taste. Mm-hmm. That's why you get kids hooked on McDonald's and a Happy Meal at a very young age.
Yeah.
This is something a lot of people don't realize, but fast food is addictive.
I just remember growing up, man, McDonald's and that Big Mac, man. I used to love them Big Macs, man. Now it's just nasty to me, man. I can't eat it.
Well, because your taste changes, you got older. And Steve, everything's kind of
lobster and script now.
Yeah. Everything's kind of synthetic now with this food now. You can taste the difference. You could definitely taste the difference. But this stuff is actually addictive. A lot of this stuff is generated in a lab, Steve, whether you know it or not.
Hey, shout out to Angelina Hightower. She said now she wants some chicken. She's gonna order some chicken wings for lunch. Oh man. But yeah, man, the food we eat, man, and like, when you think about it, we're not really conscious of it, but we do eat a lot of chicken.
Yeah, we do.
Chicken is like the go-to. We getting lunch today. What we ordering? I don't know. I don't know. Just get some chicken.
Yeah, chicken. Yeah, it's the go-to food.
You know,
Chicken.
it's the
Yeah.
go-to food, man.
Well, chicken was always considered a healthy meat
Right.
over a burger or steak because people try to say, "Oh, I'm not eating red meat."
Yeah.
Burgers, people be like, "Oh, I'm gonna slow down on the beef. I'm gonna eat the chicken." The chicken was always considered a healthy food. Then the fish. Then I'm starting to hear stuff about the fish. I love salmon. Now I see people talking about the salmon being farm raised. Don't eat farm raised salmon.
Yeah, and the fake salmon now.
Oh, man. It's being raised in farms, and they're showing all type of videos. I'm like, damn, man, I gotta go strict vegetarian now, man.
Right.
The stuff.
Right.
It's tough, Steve. I'm telling you, man.
It's tough, man. And I probably eat more vegetables than I've ever eaten in my life, man. But yeah, man,
I was told by a brother, don't eat a fish that weigh a certain amount. He said any fish that is bigger than 10, 12 pounds, don't eat it.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, it's just like waves of information coming at you. I'm like, it's too much to process sometimes,
Yeah. And just think about it too, man. Now, I was watching something, was it on social media? Someone was cooking. It was a lady, we're actually planning another relationships show, just trying to come up with the date. But this female was cooking for a man, and, it was a very good looking meal. I wouldn't say it was the most healthiest, but it was a very good looking meal. And growing up, we used to eat, that all the time. Like, macaroni and cheese, chicken, collard greens, you had sweet potato, all the stuff that we eat for Thanksgiving, man. That was Sunday dinner. You know what I mean? And it was healthy. And when you think about it, it was healthy for us back then. We didn't have all the issues that we have today with diabetes, asthma, heart attacks, at least from what I can recall.
Well, Steve, if you think about it, collard greens, freshly grown, yams, freshly grown, all the stuff that we ate, the chicken, our grandmothers, mothers, everything, the chicken came right out of the yard. Everything was freshly grown. Think about that food supply chain that we grew up eating years ago.
Yeah.
Nothing came out of a can. Nothing was added with sodium.
And we weren't even overweight like that back then.
Nothing was, we were very active as kids, if you remember.
Right.
Nothing was, Steve, we didn't have video games. Me and you, we grew up since we were kids.
Yeah.
We were always outside, man. We played every sport that we could think of, man.
Yeah.
We were active,
You know what's crazy, Rich?
What's that?
I tell people about, first of all, Rich and I, we grew up together in Orchard Park way back in the day. And, we were huge hockey fans, right? And we also, believe it or not, we played hockey. We were probably the only black folks, I can say that, we were probably the only black folks that played hockey, and we played it good.
Nobody would believe that. I tell that to people to this day, Steve. They don't believe it. But I tell anybody, if they want to call in and challenge my hockey knowledge, I'll put them to bed with that.
And we had all the equipment. We had the goalie pads. We had the face mask. We had we had everything. We would go to the Bruins shop
and buy our sticks.
We would buy our sticks
at the Boston Garden on the first floor.
Garden,
the old Boston Garden.
Yeah, and we would buy we were the only black folks playing hockey, and you couldn't tell us, yo.
But you know what that came from, Steve? That was the early 70s, the Big Bad Bruins.
Right.
The Bruins had some great teams with Bobby Orr, Phil Esposito, and those guys. And it was such a culture in the city of Boston. And we, as young inner city black kids, we gravitated to that, Steve.
Right.
And we played hockey, like you said, Steve. We played from the early 70s all the way up to the late 70s until we went to high school.
Right.
If you think about it.
Right. Yeah, we did a lot, man. We played ball, football, basketball. We played everything.
We played everything. We played everything. We were always outside as kids. Remember, man? We were outside all the time.
Yeah.
There was no video games, no television. We only had one television in the house, Steve, and the grown-ups had to watch they had to watch their stories, not soap operas. That word came later on. It was the stories, remember?
You're right. We only had one TV in the whole entire house, and it was a big deal. And I guess, listen, you if you're not old, you're gonna get old one day. So don't be judging me. I'm cool with where I am and all of that. But listen, we had when we got the first color TV, like, damn, how old are you?
I know.
But seriously, man, back then, you're right. We had one colored TV, and back then, that's when we was watching the cartoons, man. Roadrunner, Ghost Speed Racer.
Hey, Steve, these years went by, and I'm proud, and I know you're proud to say we're in our 60s.
Hey, listen, listen again. No shame in my game. It's all good in the hood. And listen,
hey, we still standing.
Yeah,
and we could get here and talk about this stuff and reminisce about the old times. It's a great thing to be able to do that.
Yeah. Now, I do want to switch up just a little bit, because speaking of that, right, growing up, and even these young kids today, as a family, our kids, and even with us, we grow up without the knowledge of things that are very, very, very important in our lives. And what I'm talking about, I want to just talk about finances. Like, we're not taught about credit. We don't know anything about credit or finances or paying bills. They don't teach it in school. I don't know why. Actually, I know why, but it makes no sense why they don't do it. And they don't do it for the simple reason is when we're born, we're worth a certain amount of money as an individual, period. And if we're taught all those things, then those companies like the banks, your Bank of Americas, your Citizen banks, they make their money off of charging us interest on certain things. If our credit is bad, we get charged more interest. It just puts us in a position, when you think about it, if you don't have the knowledge of paying your bills on time and you just don't know, then you're a victim to the system.
That's right. And that's,
you know what I'm saying?
Well, they want you to be basically kind of in the dark when it comes to stuff. I mean, like you said, if you have bad credit, then you go to buy a car, you get a 25% interest rate on the car. You go everywhere else, they say, oh, you got bad credit, but there's always a bank that will take you with the high interest. Now you buy a car and you're paying double for the car over the life of that loan.
Right.
So they do take advantage of people when it comes to this. And no one really teaches you the education of finances as a young person coming up.
Yeah, they put you in a hole. But more importantly, and as I got older, I learned so much more about finances and just things like that in general, and credit. I used to have a credit company where I would fix people's credit, and I learned a lot with that. But today, there's so many ways where you can make your money work for you, and a lot of people just don't know. Whether it's the stock market, whether it's cryptocurrency, which I talk about a whole lot. There's so many simple ways that you could take $1 and make that $1 pay you on a regular basis. But people don't know. They don't know. So.
Well, one of the things I would say, stay out of credit card debt, because credit card debt will keep you in a financial rut if you're paying credit cards every month. That's what they're designed to do.
Here's the thing, right? You buy a car. Let's say we all like nice cars. You buy, I'll just random number, $50,000 car. You get a loan for that. You're not putting a whole lot down. So you're getting a loan. Let's say you get the loan's $50,000. The interest on that money, by the time you pay that car off, whether you buy it or you lease it, how much do you really think you're paying for that car?
By the time, over a 5-year loan right now, with the rates right now, Steve, if you buy a $50,000 car, say you put down $5,000, you finance $45,000. Over 5 years right now, Steve, you're probably looking at, by the time you finish, $70,000.
Yep. Or close to 100, depending on the interest rate.
Depending on your interest rate. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. And nowadays, you can extend those payments.
And think about it. They like to give you 7-year loans now on a car.
That's what I was going to say. They extend those payments, and you can refinance a car, and people actually do it.
Another thing, what people don't realize, as you're paying for this car, paying interest on it, the asset itself is depreciating.
As it goes, when you buy that car, as soon as you drive it off the lot, it's not worth what you paid for it.
That's right.
If you were to sell it back that same day, you're not going to get what you paid for on that car.
Exactly. There's tricks to buying a car, but no one really show you the tricks of how you can make buying a car work for you.
Right. So those are the things that I'm talking about. Like, when you're young, there are certain things, and that's what I believe we got to do as folks. We got to change the narrative as a family, especially during this generation. You know, the goal is you always want your kids to do better than you. At least that's what I look at my mom's, and she always used to say that to me, and I say same thing for my kids. I want you to do better than me. This is what you need to know. Now it's hard with your kids too, because this generation, there are things that grab their attention that never grabbed our attention. So we kind of lose them at times to television. We lose them to social media. We lose them to peer pressure and things like that. But we just got to do a better job in teaching our kids and passing that information on that's so important for them to survive, especially because of where things are going today, man. Again, I talk about it all the time, man. I say it a lot because it's the truth. And I hope people don't think I'm just, oh, here we go again. Listen, 300 million jobs gone in the next, it's already started. It started a year ago where jobs are being lost due to what?
AI.
AI is taking over. So if AI is taking over the job market, what is your child going to do? Think about your kid, especially if you have a child that's graduating this year in high school that wants to go to college. Is that even a smart move? And I would never say don't go to college, but I have a whole, anyone who's listened to the show, I've always said, to me, college is a ripoff. I think one of the great things about college is the people you meet and the connections you make. It's a beautiful thing. But I've always thought that the cost to go to college and the cost for the student loans is like, it kills you.
Well, that itself is a big business. And that's one of the downfalls of, financially putting you into debt. From the beginning, you come out of college, you're $100,000 in debt. Now you're paying student loans, $700-800 a month to the student loan. Now you have to go out into the world. You try to establish your credit. You're behind the 8 ball as soon as you come out of college. If you don't come from a wealthy family, if you're just middle class, lower middle class or whatever, and you're a kid that's coming out of college, you're behind the 8 ball already. So you're already climbing up the ladder. And what's the projection? 15 years before you get where you want to get, and don't even talk about raising a family.
Right.
So how do you climb up this? Like you said, college, I would never tell anybody not to go, but I always tell young people now the best option is going to the trades.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the best options right now.
The trades is one of the best things to go into,
It's definitely a great option. But that's not what they want you to do, and that's not what they want you to know. They want you to go. Those government loans, they make billions and billions of dollars every single year, whether you pay it or not. They make lots of money off those loans. So yeah, I mean, it's the one reason why I preach a lot when it comes to, learn what you can about crypto, learn about the blockchain, learn about AI, because that's where things are going. And now listen, we're in the fourth quarter now. I posted something recently talking about we're in the fourth quarter, and if you can win the fourth quarter, you'll win the game. And it's so true. We're in the fourth quarter right now. I promise you, just sit back and wait. Watch happens between now and the end of the year to the stock market and to the cryptocurrency market. There's going to be a lot of movement. If you're invested, you'll be good. If you're not invested, you should get invested. And I was talking to Marv, so we got Escape on the Cape happening January 29th, the 30th, and New Year's Eve. And, going to do a workshop on finances. We're going to talk about how you can make money in stocks. And we're going to talk about cryptocurrency, of course. So we're going to do that at Escape on the Cape. And even before that, I'm going to try and do another workshop in a couple of weeks. But it is so important. If you really want to make a difference and you want to change things in your life, you can do that with the stocks by investing in stocks and in cryptocurrency today. And as I said before, and said it plenty of times, the opportunity, you will always be able to invest in the stock market. You will always be able to invest in cryptocurrency. But the difference in doing it now is the amount of money that's coming into the market. You're talking trillions of dollars. It's never ever happened before in the entire world, where you got trillions of dollars coming into a particular marketplace. So if you're invested into that, you're going to do very, very, very well. And listen, I'm happy to say I've helped a lot of people. It feels good to know that people that I've talked to about it, that are in the market, have already done well, and they're going to do even better. They're going to be very happy. It's an opportunity I don't think anyone should miss. I promise you, you will regret it if you don't get into it now, because the gains that are happening, you're talking about certain stocks, 5,000% they've been up. You got certain cryptos that are up 20,000+%. And this is not me blowing smoke, but if you take that and you multiply it by the money you got sitting in the bank, even if it's just $1,000, you've made a lot of money, you know? So that's what's happening right now. And it's never, ever happened before in either of those markets. And it's only going to happen one time because of the technology that is changing over. We're going from what they call we're going to Web3. The old system is being scrubbed out and the new system is being scrubbed in. We're switching to the blockchain. Wall Street is going to be 24 hours soon. Right now they open late and they shut down early. That's going away. They're moving to the blockchain. I could go on and on and on.
Do you think we'll stay with the cash system?
I don't think the dollar's going anywhere, but the value of the dollar is. It's not going to be worth a whole lot. It's not worth a whole lot of money now. You know, you walk into a store, you can't find anything for $1.
I know I go to the corner.
You know,
I stop in corner stores. Nothing costs $1 anymore.
Right. So the dollar won't go away, in my opinion, but it's just not going to be worth a whole lot. You know, to hold on to your money and to keep it in the bank, you might want to move it and put it in areas where you're going to see some growth, because the dollar it's not going to disappear, but it may well as.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's how I feel, man. I think that overall, people in general can do any and everything that they want to do, man. No one's holding anybody back.
I'm surprised, though, still in schools, they're not teaching financial literacy to young people, especially in these economic times that we live in. That seems to be something that they just won't teach it to young people.
Well, it works against the agenda.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Those young people, those are the next victims.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those are the next victims of society.
Yeah.
We don't want them to know financial literacy.
Yeah, that's right.
You know?
Because like they always say, what they say, the 1%, 2% of wealth in this country.
Right.
You got to keep the rest of the people not knowing.
Yeah, you keep them in their place, man. Just imagine you being part of that wealth that's way up on the top, and you get a check of let's say $500,000 or $1 million a year from the interest that you make off those people that got bad credit.
Exactly.
You know, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Whether they locked up in jail, there's money being locked up.
Yeah,
people are making money off of people that are locked up in jail.
Yeah, if you really want to tell the truth, that's true.
So it ain't for them. They're not, because it's easy to mandate that part of the educational system should be to teach people financial literacy.
Yeah.
But the reason why they don't, because it's a moneymaker.
It's a moneymaker. you need customers.
You need customers. So, yeah, man. I don't know, man. I don't know. But, that's a hard thing to talk about sometimes, because even when folks have the information in front of them, even though they may have the formula, some people still won't run with it
or take it and try to execute it.
Right. They won't take it and run with it, man.
You'd be surprised. A lot of people in society get stuck in their ways.
Yeah, they get stuck.
How they do things. When you're stuck in your ways, you do things the same old way over and over again.
Let's talk about that a little deeper, because that is a huge problem. People do things by habit. When they're accustomed, you got a routine. You wake up, and I don't know what your routine is, but when you wake, it starts when you wake up in the morning. Maybe what people should do is jot down everything they do from the time they wake up in the morning. And we know what most people do when they wake up in the morning. They turn over.
Look at their phone. check their messages.
That's the first. I can guarantee you that's one of the first things that most people do. They wake up, pick up the phone, and they just go from there.
Yeah, that's true.
They go from there.
Well,
man.
There's a saying that we're like sheep.
Yeah.
They always say people are like sheep with the habits being herded,
Yeah.
And you see that in society a lot. People have their habits all the time, the same thing every morning. Yeah. Almost like in the morning, people got to stop at Dunkin' Donuts and get that coffee. They don't start until they get that. You ever see those lines at Dunkin' Donuts in the morning?
Yeah, Dunkin' Donuts is just crazy. If you own a Dunkin' Donuts, you're doing good.
I mean, think about it. Dunkin' Donuts took coffee and addicted people to coffee.
To a whole nother level.
It was just donuts back in the day. In the 70s, it was just donuts.
Right.
All of a sudden, the iced coffee came out. I remember iced coffee first came. I'm like, coffee with ice? Then all of a sudden I tried the iced coffee. Yeah. I'm like, you know what? This ain't bad.
Yeah, that's what I got here.
Yeah,
iced coffee,
you got your iced coffee. That's what I'm saying. There's the habits, the lines at Dunkin' Donuts in the morning before you start your day. Now you're driving to work. You're running late. Even if you're running late, you stop at Dunkin' Donuts to get your coffee. Mm-hmm. The anxiety starts there.
Right.
The road rage, driving fast. People get in the habits. I'm telling you, man.
Now, I do want to talk about something that they talked about on the morning show, the Morning Cafe this morning. They had Dr. Love, which I think is a great segment. They talked about how this individual, and I'm going to paraphrase this because I didn't hear the whole thing, but this individual, music took her sexual life to a whole nother level. She heard a certain song by not Glorilla, Sexy Red. And I guess the song made her horny. And she started performing some of those things in her bedroom. And it took her, and if anyone who was on the morning show or heard it, you can call in if I'm telling the story wrong. But somewhere to that extent, it took her sex life to a whole nother level. And so, one of the things, and I wanted to call in, but one of those things that I believe as far as music, music is for the soul, period. No matter what song it is, whether it's a hip hop record. When I came in, I explained to them, I said, I remember I used to DJ at the Park Ave or just any random place where I was doing a party. I would play Annie Up. And in certain places, I couldn't play Annie Up anymore because it amped people up. Fights would break out, or the energy was just different when you played certain hip hop records.
Yeah.
But not only in hip hop, but it could be a love ballad. It could be a country song. Music is for the soul. Certain songs make you act and react a certain way. And yeah, go ahead.
You're definitely right, Steve. I know people have gotten speeding tickets because certain songs come on.
Yeah.
And they hit the gas a little bit harder on the highway.
Yeah.
Before you know it, they're going 100 on the highway. Certain songs you turn up and you don't even realize how fast you're going.
Yeah. And Marv was talking about, he said he listened to Tupac.
Yeah.
From Boston all the way. It got him to New York. And I remember back in the day, I was driving down to Florida for the family reunion. And this is when Jodeci's first album came out. And I had a copy of that album before it even hit the shelves and all of that. Back then they was doing retail sales. You had to go to the store. But I remember listening to that album got me all the way down. I was like, and I was putting it on repeat. And I'm like, yo, the Jodeci album, man. It was just music just does certain things.
No, you're definitely right, Steve. I used to go to work in the morning at 5 a.m., get up at 4:30, drive into work on the Jamaica way.
Right.
I got Tupac on, man, every morning.
Yeah, that's what Mob said.
Get me going every morning,
right.
Man.
That's what Mob said. He had Tupac on. And you know, I also remember because certain albums, man, especially those classic, like I remember now people don't know Ice Cube, especially the younger generation. They just know him as a director, movie star. But Ice Cube in his early days as a rapper, oh my goodness, America's Most Wanted.
Yeah.
Man, that's a classic album.
That's
you know what I
right.
mean? And I just remember when that album came out, man, it was one of them albums I would listen to and like, oh man, yo, the energy of music will take you, it could take you in almost any direction, man.
Most definitely.
You know, and some say music has spells.
Well, you see boxers, you see certain boxers, certain athletes, they like, you see guys before NBA games, NFL games, they're sitting in the locker rooms with their headphones on.
Right.
Everybody has a song that amp them up before a game.
Yeah. Music is something else, man. Whether it's a ballad or hip hop or R&B, even today, certain songs like just makes you feel a certain
Steve,
way.
if you look at the whole thing, you go back to let's take it way back to Africa.
Mm-hmm.
They were playing music. They were doing their thing with the music. It got you, got people going.
Yeah.
If you take it all the way back,
the drums.
Yeah, the drums and everything,
and
the dancing. It's always been there in the soul, like you said, man.
Yeah. Yeah, music's for the soul, man. That's why even during R&B vibes, I got to drop. It says music for the soul.
Yeah.
Because it hits that soul. When you listen to certain songs, it grabs you.
And Steve, us being in our 60s, hey, listen, I listened to Louis Armstrong. I listened to what's the name's father there? Not Gladys Knight. The other singer there. She passed away a few years ago. Her father was a big time jazz singer from the 1940s. Natalie Cole. I listened to Nat King Cole, man. Yeah, I listened to Louis Armstrong and those guys,
Unforgettable.
Man. Yes, man.
That's what we are.
There we go, man. I'm telling you, man. I listened to those guys, man.
Unforgettable.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, man.
And that was before we was even born, Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even James Brown, man. You listen to those old James Brown songs, man. Just the beat and the rhythms are just so captivating, man.
That's right,
it's like
man.
You're grabbed by the percussions, the guitar, just the soul, the whole vibration of a song, man.
That's right.
It gets into your body, it gets into your soul. And
well, Steve, I remember back in the day, we were kids, man. It was so funny. You became a DJ, but I remember when we were young kids, teenagers, man. You was going down to Skippy White's buying albums, man.
Oh yeah.
So your future was already etched in stone, man.
Yeah.
We used to have the summer jobs, man. You take your money and go and buy albums, man.
Yeah, man. That's when Skippy was on Washington
Street. He was
Mass Ave, right there at the corner.
He was down Dudley, and he was also on Washington.
That was a long time ago.
He was on Washington Mass Ave, Steve.
Yeah.
You was buying albums back then, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Sure was, man. Them was the Orchard Park days for real, man. Yeah, but all right, man. So we're gonna wrap it up in a little bit, man. But again, those Red Sox, for those who don't know, the Red Sox and Yankees tonight.
That's right. Red Sox, Yankees.
Winners take all.
Winner take all in this game, and we see what happened, man.
Yeah, who you picking for tonight, man? Of course you're gonna pick the
man. You see, I'm representing the Red Sox with my jersey on.
Right.
I'm all Boston sports teams all across the board, Steve.
Right.
I mean, we let one get away last night, but I like our chances tonight. We got a rookie pitcher going, but they have a young guy going too, so that kind of makes it a little even.
Right.
But we'll see what happened, man. Hey, nothing better than to beat the Yankees in the Yankee Stadium.
Right. And you got to make it a fun series anyways. The Yankees had to win tonight, man.
Yeah.
Last night,
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't want it to be Yankees and Red Sox, just classic.
That's right, man.
No matter who's on the team, man. That rivalry.
And I always let Yankee fans know we got 4 titles and you have 1 in the new millennium. So we got you 4-1. You got 27. I got to give you credit. You got 27.
Yeah.
But hey, man, we're on the big stage with the Yankees tonight, and not for years the Yankees was always. You remember Steve as kids, man. The Yankees was winning in the 70s with Reggie Jackson and those guys.
Yeah.
Catfish on Thurman Munson. And man, we as kids, Steve, we never thought we were going to get a World Series. You remember they broke our hearts in 75, 86. We was like, are we ever going to win one?
Now we talked about playing hockey back in them days. We also played baseball.
That's right.
And we was in that league down the prairie.
Oh, we had those, man, Steve, we loved baseball, man.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, man, you was a dual athlete in baseball. You could pitch, you could catch, you could play the outfield. You know,
listen, I used to tell folks about that, man. It's like, yeah, right, Goose. Like, nah, man. I remember me and this dude Jose, we led the league and killed the league in everything. And him Steve, and I was 1 and 2.
Hey, Steve, and you have a no-hitter on your record. I remember you pitched that no-hitter. Hey, I still remember that, man.
Listen, and you know, I've never said this on. I don't think I've ever said this on the air, but back then, you know, I didn't know what Pawtucket was, you know, back then, man. And I had an offer to go down and play in Pawtucket, man. I just didn't want to. I loved baseball back then as a kid playing, but I didn't take it that serious, man.
Yeah, we was just growing up, having fun back then, man.
Yeah, man.
We was just having fun as kids, man.
Yeah, we was kids playing, man, and it was just a game. It was like, Pawtucket, where's it? Now
it's kind of sad now, Steve. You drive around,
yeah,
you don't see kids playing baseball
they don't.
At the parks, all of these nice fields around the city.
Yeah,
we used to organize our own games. Even when we wasn't playing in like the
stickball,
the leagues, we would be stickball. That's games? Right. We played stickball, and we would actually organize our own games against kids from different parts of the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. You know, these kids do none of that now. We played in the organized little league, and then when we wasn't doing that, we were playing our own pickup baseball games.
Right, because Orchard Park, that park right there in Orchard, is it still there?
Yeah, that field,
the baseball field. Okay, yeah, we used to play.
Oh, Steve, it's in very good shape, much better than what we grew up.
We used to play right there, and believe me, the fence that was there hitting them home. I mean, this scar right here. You remember how I got this, right?
Yeah, trying to rob for a home run.
So listen, I got this scar on my hand. I had 11 stitches, and I got that playing baseball. I was, you know, back then, Fred Lynn was
the center fielder for the Red Sox.
He was a superstar, and I liked the way he played.
That's right.
So when folks was hitting them home runs and or trying to hit the home runs and I'm playing the outfield, I go up for the catch. Boom, came right down, and my hand got caught on the fence.
That's right. Those fences had those old those barbed wire fences back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right, man.
So I went home, and you know the thing about it didn't hurt. It wasn't even bleeding. It was just the white. All you saw was the white part.
That's right.
No blood. I went and never forget this story. I went home. Ma, I hurt my hand. I showed it to her. She nearly passed out. She nearly passed out. And, you know, went to the doctor, man. They stitched it right on up, man.
And you was right back out there.
I was right back out there a few days like it was nothing, man.
Oh, man, those were good old days.
Growing up in those days, again, man, we played everything, man. Basketball, and it didn't matter what the wind, unless it was raining. We didn't do a lot in the rain, but in the snow we did.
Steve, we actually shoveled off basketball courts to play basketball in the wintertime.
And hockey.
That's what I'm saying. We did this. This is the type of stuff that we did. Yep. These kids, man, these kids now, the generation, they don't know how good they have it, man.
Yeah. And I remember playing in those basketball leagues too, man.
Well, Steve, you remember before, 1977, 78? We didn't even really have a community center to go to.
Yeah, they built that later on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that came on later on. Mr. Marshall ran that.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, but those were the days, y'all. So listen, we want to thank y'all for locking in with us. Don't forget, Escape on the Cape, December 29th, 30th, and New Year's Eve. We got Roxanne Shante. This is what I know as of now. We got Roxanne Shante. We got Troop. We got Adina Howard. I know of another artist, but I'm not going to mention that yet. But more to be added. We got that comedian Pierre. And the one thing I could tell you that I loved about Escape on the Cape last year is, you know, it's not just 3 days on, like there's all kinds of activities that go on during the day. And it kind of reminded me of back in the day in the music industry, they had these conventions. And during the daytime, they would have luncheons with panelists talking about things in the music industry. So we're working on having something like that. So if you're interested in the music industry and where it is with the technology today, we're working on some type of panel when it comes to that. But we are going to have a financial literacy panel for sure. We're going to do that. We're going to talk about stocks. We're going to talk about crypto. So there's different things. There are going to be different things that go on during the daytime. So you're not going to be bored, you know. And like last year, I believe you can come down either for all 3 days or you can come down for a day and a night, whatever works for you, if I'm not mistaken. But mark that down. December 29th, 30th, and New Year's Eve, man. It's going to be a great event. Last year was good. This year's already better with the lineup that I know of and all that. So we're going to, thanks for tuning in, y'all. R&B Talk on a Thursday. We'll do it again next week. And go Patriots.
That's right. Red Sox Patriots. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. All right, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your day.